So step number 2 here. Let's move on to step number 2 of the power move. So let's see here. Number 1, we want to create a place for everyone. Nope, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to create a place for everyone because some people need to be fired. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a place where everyone matters. I do love this idea here. Again, some people say where everybody fits, but again, there are some people that aren't going to fit. This is something that I deal with a lot as I work with entrepreneurs and business leaders across the country. Is in their organization, they've got people all over the board doing all kinds of different things. Some acting the fool, all right? Some doing a good job. And then what they do, when I encourage them to come in and put boundaries, put measuring sticks, as soon as you put in a boundary, you're going to find that some people are functioning outside that boundary. Okay? And so what people need to do is come into the boundary, else they're going to be very unhappy. So when I'm talking about create a place where everyone fits, and this is something I do in my companies, is I make sure before I bring people in, if you're a manager, this is a little hint of what's coming. What I do is I make sure people fit before I invite them in. Okay? So again, when you're first starting out this thing and you put in some boundaries, you're going to find that there's people on the outside. And when you say, hey, you got to come into the boundaries, they're going to say, I don't want to. You're going to say, then you're fired. What? I've been here for 15 years. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. But as you move into the future, you want to create a place where everyone fits. Okay? That means you need to be careful with whom you bring in. Did I say that right? With whom you bring in. So, step number 2 in our power move here is we want to connect when you come and go. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to walk around to every single one of your employees. I'm getting ready to leave on an appointment. Okay? You don't have to do that. But as you can, you need to let people that you're leaving and let people know that you're coming. Invite them into your life. Again, you're a manager going, Clay, I don't know about this. I'm primarily talking to team builders, co-workers, all right? Invite people into your life. Invite people into your movements. Because as you do that, people will interpret that as, wow, you care about me. All right, some people, it may just go right over their head. But over time, it will build a confidence in other people that you care enough about them to let them know if you're going to be in or if you're not going to be in. Because you may be a part of a working system, and if you're not there to do your job, it may slow down the system. So if you let them know you're going to be out, it can be very helpful. It's called being considerate of others. Hey, I'm going to be stepping out for a little bit. If you need somebody, you can do this. If you need this, you can go over there. Being considerate of others. Make them feel a part of your life. You got to connect with them, recognize them, ask them what's up. Sincere conversations lead to relationship. Okay, so once again, this is for the team builder. If you're a manager, you might be watching this going, Clay, I don't have time to build relationships. That's unfortunate, okay? You got to start working some time blocks in there to do that. But I'm primarily focused on the worker that is trying to move into a team builder level. So what we have to begin doing here is building relationships. A lot of leaders may not need praise, but the problem is they don't think anybody else does either. And that's where you're wrong. Okay? That's where you're wrong. People need to know that you care about them. People need to know that you are considering them. I have one of my clients, one of my business owners talks about, well, I've always had an open door policy. You know, have you ever heard of that? The open door policy? You know, yeah, doors open. If people need to come in and talk to me, that's wonderful. You guys, as a manager, all right, I think an open door policy is stupid, all right? I don't want people just popping into my office anytime they want because they want to talk. I'm a manager. I've got to get work done, okay? So as a manager, when people talk about an open door policy, I'm all for that, but that means that I'm gonna get up out of my chair and I'm gonna go out through my open door and have a specific block time where I'm gonna go out and talk to people. I'm gonna go out and encourage. I'm gonna go out and ask questions. How are you doing? How was the weekend? And so on. But again, as a manager, to just have an open door, anybody can come in and talk anytime they want, to have that got-a-minute meeting, that'll drive you crazy. So that's how I helped this one. He owns a pizza shop, okay? And he was just going, Clay, I can't get anything done because I have all these workers that keep coming into my office. I said, keep the open door, but just change the direction of where people are coming. You want to be the one going out, not them being the ones coming in. That way you can control that. Again, there's a little management tip for you. But you got to take out time to move from me to the we, all right? From me to we. Your employees come first. If you treat them right, customers will come back. Start with treating your employees right, and everything else will follow. So right here, to lead is to serve. Start treating people rightly. Get out of your own why. Well, they just frustrate me, okay? I get it. But you got to get out of that box to begin to move forward. If you could get your employees, if you could get your co-workers to improve their performance or just feel 50% more reach your transition. This is how we move from being worker mindset into a team mindset. So many managers just see their employees as workers and not as humans. Just do the job. Just do the job. Because, again, I'm going to toss in here, so many managers have not gone through any kind of a team building experience, season of team building. They may have read a book, might have watched a video, did a trust fall with a group over a weekend one time, okay, and all that's great, but a season of your life learning how to build relationships. Clay, you just don't understand. I've been burned before. I've tried to build relationships and people hurt me. I get it. I've been there. People that I trusted, people that I thought were going to be awesome, ended up burning me, ended up talking bad about me, ended up leaving and taking things, ended up stealing from me. I've been there before. You just have to keep plowing forward. You have to keep moving. Okay? So step number 4. Let's catch up here. We got step number 3, which is be different. Be different. Again, if you are status quo, you're easy to fire. If you're status quo, you're easy to fire. I've got another employee that I haven't fired. He's been with me for 5 months. He's 24 years old. You know, you've heard all about the millennials and all that kind of stuff. I tell you, this guy is different. This guy's energetic every single day. This guy gets things done. He asks questions. He follows through. He's different. So I got another guy, same age that I've hired. I keep him for 3 weeks. He's like everybody else. He's like the stereotypical millennial. So he didn't last. You're gone. One stays, one goes. Which one do you want to be? All right? Which one fits you better? Which one is best for your future? So here we go. Number 4, as we continue to move forward, know that there are speed bumps. There are, we'll say here, there are struggles. We talked about this in our last session where Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy, goes to his rich dad and he's like, I can't believe my company didn't work. And his rich dad laughs at him. He goes, dude, you are not failing fast enough. Remember talking about that? It's all this whole thing of you have to act. You have to fail. You have to learn. You have to adjust. Ta-da. Failing's all part of the process. Most people don't want to fail, so they never act. I'm just going to play it safe. Okay, play it safe. And you may not fail, but also you never grow. You never move forward, and you're like everybody else. So failing is all part of the process. Unfortunately, we didn't learn this in school because failing was negative. Failing was bad. Parents, what? You failed the test? Teachers, I'm disappointed. I expected so much more out of you. This whole failure thing we learn at school, failure is bad. But then all of a sudden we get tossed out to life and we find out that out here in the world, failure is actually something that we need to embrace. Failure is actually a part of the deal. Failure is actually something that is incumbent. Failure is, you can't avoid it. It's out there. So we have to learn how to deal with it. Well, Clay, how do I deal with failure? We learn and adjust. Act, fail, learn, adjust. Welcome to the rest of your life. Okay? So we have to know that there are going to be struggles along the way. Well, Clay, I tried something you told me to do and it didn't work, so I think you're stupid. All right? I don't think I should do it anymore. All right? Well, okay, you can do that. But I promise you, as we talked about in the last session, as you are doing this, you're going to find some of your first efforts are going to fail. Some of your first efforts aren't going to work, even though it is the formula to success. Just because you do it once, twice, or 3 times, it may not lead to the success that you want. But you have to keep going, keep hammering away. Keep hammering away, make the thing happen. We all have speed bumps along the way. The problem is that if we get here to the manager level and we don't understand that people learn slowly, if we don't understand that people change seldom, then when struggle happens, when failure happens, we do one thing with failure as managers. If we're not careful, we get mad. We get angry. And we start barking. And we start saying, man, if you do that again, then this is going to happen. And we begin to force things as managers because we didn't learn how to draw people to us. We begin to force things. Okay? It happens a ton of times. This is why, probably, again, this is why when people leave, they don't leave companies, they leave people. And from what we've heard, they leave their direct supervisor. Probably because their direct supervisor was a butthole, all right? Again, can be all kinds of reasons for that, though, all right? I want to be really careful with that. Just because you fired someone or someone quits and you're a manager doesn't necessarily mean it was your fault. But are we willing to ask, what role did I play in this? Did I do these 7 power moves with this person or not?